Buckminster Fuller said that you never change things by fighting the existing reality, you change things by creating a new model that makes the existing one obsolete. And so I'm here today to talk about how we're trying to do that with Protestival in Bath. Before I do that, I'm going to talk a bit about myself, and then I'll finish up with some exciting news about what we've got coming up. So I grew up surrounded by debate, which is a really key thing. I think that's influenced me to do Protestival. My father's father was German, and they used to constantly debate all the time. I think they're very forthright. And I used to say to my dad, why can't we ever just have a normal conversation? And of course he would say, well, what's the point in having a normal conversation? It's just two people agreeing with each other. And so I think that kind of really shaped me now, and doing a philosophy degree, which is constant debate. I see more and more of my father in myself every day, which they say happens as you get older. The second thing that I think really inspired me to kind of birth Protestival was a real love of seeing people together and really enjoying themselves, which I think all of us enjoy. I realised this when I was in Sheffield, where my sister was studying at the time, and her dance group did a performance at a community event. And just seeing everyone there dancing together, feeling so confident, you could tell they were really enjoying themselves. And the crowd was smiling, and kind of having a little dance as well. And I started crying because I was enjoying it so much. And since then, I kind of knew this is something I really want to do. I want to engage people in debate and create this sense of community where people can really enjoy each other's company. And so that was kind of how Protestival was born, I think. It was almost inevitable that after engaging in some student activism while I was at uni, these two kind of passions for debate and the sense of community spirit, people really enjoying being together, something like Protestival would eventually happen. But before I explain any more, I'd like to ask a quick question. How many people here have been on demos or marches or protests and felt really ecstatic that there's so many people there who are also engaging in this kind of thing? Great. And how many of those people have felt that sense of buoyancy and solidarity last for more than a day or two? A few, a couple. And so this is kind of what Protestival was born out of. I remember a couple of years ago we went on a student protest in London. It was during the time of the tuition fee price increase, and all of us were feeling so good. Everyone's here, there's thousands of us out on the streets. I'm feeling really elated that so many people care. And then the very next morning, the changes came through, tuition fees had been raised. And this feeling of kind of disempowerment and helplessness gave rise to Protestival. We thought there must be a way to engage in activism and have this sense of community solidarity that lasts longer than just being at the protest, and that doesn't rely on other people making changes for us in terms of policy change, or it could be the council, it could be the board of governors at your school or institution, it could be anyone. And so Protestival really is about engaging people and empowering them to see that they actually can make their own changes. And it came out of a desire for greater connection and communication in society. It's also in protest of apathy, alienation and fragmentation. So trying to create this new kind of positive protest that encourages compassion, collaboration and empowerment, rather than putting our decisions in the hands of others. So we want to create spaces to connect with one another, join groups, share expertise, share knowledge and ideas, and get involved in actively creating the world that we would like to see. And Protestival is that space. So like I said, it's a positive protest. We try not to pin ourselves as against things. We support local groups like there's Bath Against Cuts and Bath Students Against Fees and Cuts, and various other groups like that. Regardless of what you might think, Bath actually does have some activism going on. It's not as conservative as you might think. And so, we're trying to promote this kind of more positive way of looking at the world. So maybe promoting alternative education actions, or alternative models for social housing and things like that. But there's a Bath Welcomes Refugees group, which, rather than being opposed to the kind of immigration feeling that we have in the local politics and national politics, just celebrating refugee families being in Bath, and that's great. So we're also trying to bring people together from a really diverse range of backgrounds and create this kind of healthy, holistic worldview. And by combining our knowledge and our different skills, we can move towards a new form of systems thinking that encourages ecological sustainability, collaboration, and also friendship. We're trying to work together but also have a good time. So I'm just going to show you a video now, which is from Protestival in July last year, and just so you can get a little feel of what the actual day looks like, and then carry on. It's going to get bigger and bigger. So the reason that we do it in that format, kind of alternating talks and live music with the workshops too, is so that even if you just come to see the music because a friend's in a band or something, you're going to learn something, whether you like it or not. And that's kind of the point, we're trying to reach out to people who might not come to a conference or to a demo or to an activist meeting. We're trying to encourage, the festival crowd and the party goers to come and get involved as well. And there's so many ways to become an activist now that you really can do it in any way. So we're just trying to provide people with the tools and kind of the feeling of empowerment to do it. And by simply creating these spaces of resistance and allowing people to engage in ways of thinking through kind of philosophical, ecological, literary and historical lenses, we can really develop our thinking about the world that we want to live in. And in doing that, we can start to manifest a shift in not only the way we live, but the way we think, which I think they go hand in hand. So like I said, we're trying to provide people with the tools to become active. We support local activist groups. We kind of provide the platform for them to come and speak and recruit new members and people to talk about local projects. Since 2015, the vision has kind of developed. The values have stayed the same, but it's grown, and we've got much more local support, which is amazing. It feels really good. And so now we're looking to expand, and we're starting to do the Protestival evening sessions, which are going to be a monthly event rather than just a twice annual thing like this. And so that will kind of give us more of an opportunity to showcase local activism and local groups, as well as having some more acoustic music and creating a social kind of environment, more of a social network around it. We've also just redesigned our website, so if you want to check that out, it's got all our upcoming events on there. It's protestival.co.uk. We're also looking to expand our hubs into Manchester, Bristol and London, and provide a Protestival blueprint, which kind of demonstrates how to set up a Protestival. So that will include a report of all the events we've done so far. So that's 4 events like the one you just saw in the video, as well as 2 outreach workshops. One of them was at Music Festival last year, and another was as part of Bristol Healthy City Week. And as well as in the blueprint, we'll have kind of suggested workshop content, hints on how to facilitate effectively, how to organise small groups, and as well as other effective forms of community activism and non-violent protest. So if anyone's interested in the blueprint, come and say hi in the break, or I've got cards on the table at the back. It's got the email address on it and the website too, so just give me a shout. And to finish, I'd just like to firstly remind you that Protestival 1 came out of this feeling of despair and hopelessness, that there was nothing we could do about politics and feeling really disempowered. And now we have this event that's kind of regularly well attended by over 100 people with local support. We get free flyers from Minuteman Press, we have a free website, and we're looking to start applying for funding. And also that we had no experience in organising events when we started. There's a core team of maybe 3 of us now. It was kind of just me when we started, and so if I can do it, then anyone can do it, and that includes all of you. But secondly and finally, I'd just like to remind you of the Buckminster Fuller quote that I started with, And he said, to change something, we need to build a new model that makes the existing one obsolete. So I'd like to leave you with a question. What model can you build that makes the existing one obsolete? Thank you.